going to talk about how to go from a low register note to a middle register note. So what we're going to do is start with the lower one, which is called the Shalimo Register. Okay, Shalimo Register is the register from your lowest note up to about your open G, that area. From that point up, we have what we call the Clarion Register. It's basically the middle register of the clarinet. Beyond high C and up, we have the Altissimo Register, but we're just going to go from the Shalimo to the Clarion today. Okay, so a couple things you want to think about. When you're going from a low register to an upper register, it's just like if you were singing a low note and then going to a high note. So if I'm singing a low note, my tongue is going to be in a lower position than if it was in a high position when I was singing high. So it'll be like da, he, ta, he. So what I'm going to do when I play the clarinet is I'm going to think the same thing. I'm going to think about keeping my tongue in the ha position when I'm playing on the low register. And then when I move to the upper register, I'm going to change my tongue position slightly and I'm going to think he. So ha, he, ha, he. Okay? All right, when you play and you blow the air, we're still going to keep very solid air. We're going to keep a very strong embouchure too. Our embouchure doesn't change when we go from one register to another register. It is nice and solid. The position still stays at your knee, and your hands and your arms and everything else stays the same. Okay, before we play the note, I'm going to talk a little bit about hand position. Hand position is really important because I think a lot of times we have trouble going from a low register to a high register really simply because we don't have our fingers covering the holes. That's one of the main things that happens. So when you're playing, you want to make sure that we'll talk about the right hand first. These three fingers are going to go over these tone holes here. 1, 2, 3. Now make sure that you're using the thicker part of your finger, not the very tip. We don't want to stick the very tip in. Just right behind the tip where the thick part is. So that goes 1, 2, 3 over those holes. Now when you look down, you shouldn't be able to see those rings hanging over, okay? And we don't want to have them over so far that we're flat fingered. So we have a nice 1, 2, 3 curve, just like that. The pinky is going to hang around just on these keys right in here. Just going to let it rest there so they're ready to go if we need to use those. The thumb is going to be placed under the thumb rest somewhere between the base of the nail and the first knuckle. Okay, but try to get these in place first, and the pinky, and then come around and get your thumb in place, and then you have a nice curve, and I'm making sure that I'm covering all of those holes. The left hand, make sure your thumb is at 1 o'clock on the back F key so that you can get to that octave key with no issues. Okay, these fingers are all going to be here, 1, 2, 3, again using the thick part of your finger, covering over the holes. Make sure you're not hanging over that way, because if we hang over and we're more straight fingers like that, air can leak out the back side back here because we're not hanging onto it. So it's really important that we make sure that your fingers stay curved and close. This pinky, the left hand pinky, is going to hang out right here. It's really important to make sure that you keep your pinkies on top of the keys and not stick them underneath like this. Okay, so make sure they always stay on top like that. Make sure your thumb is always ready to go to that 1 o'clock position so that you can get to that register key right here. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to start with, I'm going to play a low A. Okay, so that's going to be your thumb covered, and I'm going to have 1, 2, 3 on my left hand and 1 and 2 on my right hand. When I play the low A, I'm going to be thinking ha. Okay. Okay, so ha. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to slur right up into the next register. We're going to go from the Shalimo Register to the Clarion Register by just adding my octave key, my register key right here. Okay, so when I do that, I want to just rock that forward just slightly. Okay, and it shouldn't be a big motion because your thumb's already touching that key, and you can just rock right forward and get that. When I go from the ha to the he, okay, I'm going to keep my air flowing, keep my embouchure firm, keep the bell at my knee, fingers covered. Okay, so first ha, low A, and then he for the upper E. That's the note it would be. It'd be the top line E. if I just add my octave key, right, register key here. Okay. Okay, let's try that again one more time. So we're going to start with the low A in the ha tongue position, and then he. Okay, so all I did was add my thumb to the register key. I kept everything the same. My air was going fast. I kept it nice and solid here. My thumbs pushed up and forward into my top teeth like that, so that I had a good solid embouchure on the mouthpiece, nice and solid there too. Okay, so try not to get too tense when you go for that. Just try to relax as much as you can, and it's really not difficult. You can start with the A, and then you can go downward from there. You can go to low G with the next one. Add the register key, and it gives you a D. Okay. Again, ha, he, and then you can add the pinky, and that would be a low F, and then that would give us a C. Okay, and then finally, we're going to add this pinky, the inside key here, and we're going to have we'll just go ahead for stability, keep your pinky on the low F key, and we're going to add this one. This is going to be your low E key, and when I play that, that's going to take me to B natural. Okay. Okay, so it's just that easy. It's really just that easy. You just have to make sure that your holes are covered properly, okay? Nice and curved hands, embouchure is firm, your air is moving fast, and you think ha, he. We call that voicing, okay? So you can even just think about, like, how would I sing a low note? If you sing a low note, you're going, oh, so the tongue stays low. If you sing a high note, he, it's like your tongue raises up. So it's a natural way of putting your sound in whatever register you need to have it, whether you be a singer or you be a clarinetist. It's the same thing. Ha, he. When you play low or sing low, it's more of a ha, low tongue position. When you sing higher, he, it's a higher tongue position. So it's simply just voicing, and that is it. So just practice in front of a mirror, and that is going to really be a good indicator to see what you're doing, because you know, if you feel like I can't get this to work, maybe your fingers are sliding. Okay, maybe your fingers are sliding, maybe you're changing your head position. So use the mirror. The mirror is your best friend. Make sure you use the mirror. Okay, well, good luck, and I'll see you the next time.